joined by the founder of the event, Fridrik Larsen. Here we are at the end of day one. How are you feeling as you're wrapping up this very, very full day?
I feel pretty good, I have to say. I judge the way I feel on the feelings of our guests, and they are feeling good. They tell me, so I'm fine. I'm good.
What surprises? I mean, you put so much energy into planning an event like this, and then the magic sort of happens. I mean, was there anything that came up today that you did not anticipate that was maybe something positive that you learned?
Well, actually, I think that diversity of the conversation was surprising. I really, really like that. But on the maybe on the flip side of the negative side is how long it takes to get our message across to the North American market. It seems like, I mean, this is new, of course. I mean, we are saying something that people are not talking about anywhere else, so it takes time. But I like the positivity. I like the people here. They wanted to spread the word. They want to be talking to their cohorts and their peers and their companies. So I'm very optimistic about the future.
You know, I appreciate that. Here we are in Texas, and what occurs to me when you use the term diversity of perspective is that Texas is a very interesting arena and perhaps a one-of-a-kind laboratory for not just the rise of multiple sort of players in the energy space, but for a more robust conversation about brands in the energy space. How important do you find Texas as you know, a market for the kinds of things that CHARGE is trying to focus on?
I think you put it really well. Laboratory. I mean, it's a big. I mean, it's a big state, bigger than many European countries. So
right.
It's not a small lab, but I think it is interesting because you have the competition here, and you have the regulated companies. You have the mixture of the whole thing, and it's just an interesting place to put it. And Houston, of course, is the energy capital of the States, maybe even the world. So this is a place to host this, for sure.
But this is a conference that's really focused on brand. What is your message? What do you want to make sure that participants go home with, in terms of the communications dimension to the event?
That's a good question. The point on technology, we always think about technology in terms of smartphones or medicine or something, but technology is also, and the disruption of technology is also on the consumer side. So we still have to be strategic about the way we do brands. We have to understand our segments and know how to and understand them well enough to talk to them. And I think also what's really important, more now than ever, is also understanding that brands are not just for external stakeholders. They're also for employees. And that's an extremely important segment, if you will, or stakeholder. And what we are doing in Europe. So we've been measuring the strength of brand for several years with Brandr Index, but now we have a new index out, Brandr Employer Index, and that by running the tool on the inside and the outside, then you can try to see whether the identity and image overlap enough. If they don't, you are losing money. And if you're in business, it's not about losing money, it's about making money. And branding is about making money.
Tell us about how that index works, because I know this is news for 2024, something that you've been working on. Please.
So I'm a PhD in energy branding. I'm a professor at the University of Iceland, and I've been working for the past few years, 3 years, to understand the interplay between HR and brands. So how do those connect? I know they connect, and those are the two sides of the same coin and all of that. But how do they actually connect? That's been my academic part. So now, at the end of last year, we pushed out a new tool which is based on those years of academic study, and we are basically asking a set of HR questions, a set of branding questions, to see how they come together to create brand ambassadors, those who wear your sign with pride.
Yes, of course. So who are you trying to reach then within an organization? Is it HR people or is it marketing and brand people?
Both, because this opens up a whole new dialogue. Because in many of the energy companies, you have skilled branding people, skilled HR people, but they don't necessarily talk together. But in this way, we have something to combine them, and because they can be looking at their brand in the same way, because the brand is not, I mean, the organization owns it, the people in the company own it, the customer own it. It's not just a brand person; it's the whole organization. So they need to treat it as as a mutual ownership.
But I guess I have sort of two questions I want to run by you before we sort of wrap things up. The first is with the HR index, how can people tap into that? What's the best way to learn more about how to use that tool and engage the the services that come with that?
Or just get in touch with me or someone in my team, and that's the easy part. Yeah, so that's a simple answer to that question.
Okay.
Or did you mean something else, or did you mean do you mean how we do it, or?
Well, if someone who's curious about like implementing or taking advantage of the tool.
Yeah, it's simple. So first, you make the commitment that you will really try to understand who we are. Then you find us. You run the tool. What it requires is that you send out a survey to all of your staff or a representative portion of your staff.
Yeah.
It will take them less than 4 minutes to respond. We'll process the data, turn it into information. We sit down and we tell you what to do. And we prioritize all the assignments. Some things we can fix right away. Some things takes years to fix. But at least we can tell you what you should start working on.
Outstanding. So that's really a way of identifying problems and trying to mitigate some risk as we think about, the right moves to strengthen that brand. So it's kind of a cool research tool. I really appreciate that. And I like how you put it, that, you've got multiple sides, two sides of the same coin. It's essential. It makes perfect sense to me. Well, I guess last question then. The conference continues tomorrow. There's a lot to cover. We've got an outstanding program of workshops. I'm sort of wondering, what is your hope for folks who have come to Houston that they take home with them? What do you want them to get out of this experience?
Good question. I'd say, so, it's hard to preach to an empty church, so nobody will hear you. But this is not an empty church. There's people here that are listening, basically, so they understand it. But for the what I would like for them to say when they go back to their companies is that there is a way to run your company with a different philosophical outlook than you're used to, basically. And that philosophy is the philosophy of branding in social science. And but it's not, and that philosophy is not about just being cool or colorful or with design thinking or whatever. It's a strategic way to actually be more profitable. That is the whole thing. It's not about cosmetics, it's about profits.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. And all things being equal, strong brands win.
Absolutely.
So, well, I appreciate it. Thank you for all the work that you and your team do to put together this event. And you're right. I mean, we may have a full church here, but there are a lot of great people who are part of the congregation. And it's really great to get everyone together and to realize, at least for my part, that, we're not alone. We have a lot of kindred spirits, and there are a lot of outstanding minds working on these topics, and that together we can be a good, strong, unified force for change. So thank you, Fridrik.
Thanks for saying that. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here at the Charge Energy Conference, Energy Branding Conference.